after all, even though I don't really want to, because I've been like kind of just chilling out. Where's my book? The Geo-Negative Axis, Scan and Publishing, because I'm trying to give you some Yan, Buddha Yoga. Very serious stuff. So we're just going to go random pick. That was negation distinction. Let's see what it really wants. We got the single base negative transfers to make a junction point in which it leaves you to decide. But with application of a cycle reactor, we can dispense a large scale of assortment or multitask and multi-purpose. It is us by nature that as soon as we get gadgets going our way to endure our capabilities to multitask, the more we want to do. As humans and in this realm of Earth by nature, as it seeks for the geopositive reality, and that's when we seek a cycle reactor, things that we like to do that in reaction award us things we want. That's our design to diminish the use of something that left us with an unwary result. But when we put it into practice, we found out it became a negative facilitating the next result and completing the resultant in higher form and fashion. Coupling the more negatives, the better. You will always have a grandeur to look forward to, positive results that are reoccurring. Life with negative context and cycle can only spread energy and transfer naturally. It doesn't take for itself, it doesn't diminish in that sense. Naturally also means freedom, because we are free by nature. When linked to our natural Earth function of the Geo-Negative axis, ultimately the unit becomes a completed action. The deriving is the negative, okay? Being it's supplied and filled in. So from figuring out how one didn't succeed in more valuable at times than trying to reinvent why you can succeed in a new way. The examining of the reason you didn't usually tells one who is honest with that. The re-examining of the reason you didn't usually tells one who is honest with it. That is interesting, I must say. I even have to sit back and think about that one for a minute. So the more valuable at times than trying to reinvent, you can, yeah. Yeah, so basically, what I'm saying is how people do profiling anyway. When they do profiling, they already know about this analytics. It's not something I'm inventing. So in that regard, I'm just pointing that out, that you can do this with the Geo-Negative axis, because if you look at things from a perspective that you're not a part of them, then you can better tail them and better find them. Okay? That's also how humans become conscious, intimate partners. They pay attention to the details of the interaction exchanges and make it out the next time. To be specific, the help of the Geo-Negative axis and its pinpoint capabilities. The common way can be misleading, as the person they interact has nothing to do with their set scenario. So the person is then reliant on what they know the person doesn't like, and then can present themselves to groove into what they do. That's a good point. We need to go over that one. That's also how humans become conscious, intimate partners. They pay attention to the details of interaction exchange and make it out the next time, to be specific, with the help of the Geo-Negative axis and its pinpoint capabilities. So there's a thing in your brain, in your reminder of how a person is reacting to you, and you try to give them a flower. Do they like flowers? No. They like chocolates more. So you try different things, and then you know what to give them at a certain time. So these are things that we know, and that's also because of GNA, because we're searching for GNA. In the book, I also say that ladies, they're catching the understanding of GNA better, because how they look and everything. They have more, and they also have more capabilities. So they understand GNA a lot more than we do. We're specimens of GNA. They are GNA in a sense. In a sense, because I guess they're more relinquished with the nature of the soul. The soul is female. God is enjoying. So we're trying to be enjoyed by Him. So naturally, all the souls have a feminine bystander. And then some are more male if they're more active. They're more able to be fair. So anyway, So here it goes. So yeah, so the scenario, that person's relying on what they know and person doesn't like, and then can present themselves as congruent to what they do. So that's just stating that, how a relationship works is usually is not going into the negatives. The positives are not usually always what it is. It's more the negatives. It's stating like, okay, it's great that the exchange, but the common way can be misleading, as the person that interacts has nothing to do with their set scenario. So it's not over the time that you guys like the same music, because men and women, they have very different varieties of how they do things, but they get together, and usually how they get together is by not stepping on each other's toes. So even by the negative axis, relationships matter, and they happen. If you look at relationships carefully, they're also working from the negative axis. Yeah, that's a fact. Basically what this is saying. It establishes what one has prerequisite for within their means, the instance before as to make it possible for them, or their plan intended to manipulate certain trends and comfort the energy. Sometimes people have to stretch one day and wait to be flexible the next. This is what I was talking about with yoga and all that, because this is how yoga works. People they have to stretch one day, and then the next they have to they're able to do that posture. So when you do gymnastics or yoga, that is evident, and you can see that. So that's not something that we're making up. But let me look for the Bible so we can try a Bible verse. So I don't have to talk your head off too much. But that was a little reading I did for you, and share it with a friend if you know somebody that's impaired or could use some enlightenment, some information. Please do so. Okay. And I'm just going to find some Bible verses here, all right, and see what comes to task. So that was great, and I was talking about actually very good vital points I'm going to get back to. So here's one. Be careful not to practice righteousness, right? This is Matthew. Be careful not to practice righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. So when you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets. Oh my God, that's so good. This is perfect. As the hypocrites do in the synagogues and on the streets to be honored by others. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in a secret. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. This is also in yogic philosophy. And when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by others. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. This is exactly almost what I'm talking about. You see how this is synonymous with G&A? Because what I was just talking about is that we have to have, what you got to do, right? It says you can't, one day, you have to give up the idea that you're controlling everything and allow the divine energy to dispense it, just because you see how yoga and gymnastics work. So that's how that works. And so basically, the capabilities, diminishing the use of something, the unwary result, when it's put into practice, we found it became negative, facilitating the next result. So when something is also negative, it means that you can make it become another thing instead of just washing out. Let's see, for instance, if you're driving somewhere and you pick up a few people, you can get more things done. Ultimately, more things done for yourself. That can be, with that, coupling with that. People have, like when you do routes or with the bus. Bus, for instance, is usually a negative. That's a heavy negative action. You have a person that's not the person that's driving, right? That's the first negative. And then the second negative is that they're going in a direction that's not for them. So they are doing a double negative. And by that double negative, they're getting all those people in the bus to a place. So right there we see how a double negative works already, just by the bus. There's many examples. In the book I try to put more. I want to explain more and more. But the thing is, I'm giving those information free, practically speaking, because this is what it leads out to. When you have a a political response, when you speak truth, you'll be punished. That's what the Bible was saying too. So Jesus, that was a great thing Jesus was saying, man. He was saying, don't give your prayer to, to offer to people to be like, whoa, look what he's doing, he's gracious. No, this is for God. And this is exactly what I was saying here. So the first day, you want to stretch, and then the next day you'll be flexible. So that same thing. When you worship, these verses just, again, they went together. Okay, this is a miracle maybe 3 times. The other time, actually, the other day it was the same, and then before that, a friend of mine said something, and then I went up, I went up and read, and then it exactly answered what he was saying. It was exact words even. The terminology was the same. So, and then this is it again. So the Bible is saying, don't offer your prayer to be a show off, right? Offer it to God, right? Do your prayer alone. You don't have to go to the temples and everything and show it off all the time. That's good to go, but that's good to get the association of others, to do service to others. It's not there to show off, oh, I'm a great devotee. Look at my harmonium. Look at my drum playing. Look at my incense worshiping. Look at my, everything, my incense, So no, basically that's what it's saying. So practice and the negative facilitating coupling more negatives. That's like the bus. So with the bus, you can take many people, and then all these people could be doing things. And then on top of that, they're giving the people money, they give the bus people money, then that money goes to many people. So from that one double negative, so many things are coming. The more double negatives we make in society, the more abundance will come. And there'll be no more complaining, and there'll be no more, oh, America's a BS place, doesn't take care of it. No. And then when that's flowing, then you can help others very easily. Don't help people when you're down. All right, that's my message, G&A. Get the book if you haven't. Find me online.